more money, prosperity, so I can buy you all the designer things you need.
Hey, amen to that. Amen to that. I receive it. And no domestic debt exchange.
No domestic debt is saying.
So it's one of your prayers.
That one is like no domestic debt to Minia, because we don't even know where this one is taking us.
Hey,
I'm telling you, because we don't know whether to affect the activities of the bank. So and people have their savings in this domestic debt or long hand, so we can stretch anyway.
Yes, but you look really nice this morning.
Thank you, my dear.
And thanks for joining us. Also joining us this morning, I was asking questions about how she suddenly appeared on the show when I was not around, but she's here today. My very good friend Margaret Anse, we all call her Mago. Good morning. She's a member of the NDC's National Communication Team. How are you?
Well, good.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I've been around, you know.
Yeah.
But I always see you, though.
You always see me, and I know you've been sending messages. I know you watch as well, so it's good to see you in the studios.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well. Also joining us this morning, this will be the first time that I'm actually seeing her in the studios here for the big issue. Janet Nabla is the General Secretary for the People's National Convention. Good morning to you as well. You also look lovely. You're in white. Are you also celebrating something?
Helping my sister.
Oh, you're helping her?
Yes.
Hey, I see. Okay, so happy birthday to her then, and to you, an extension of a birthday celebration.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you in the studios. How is the party doing?
Oh, we are doing great by God's grace.
Okay. There were quite a number of issues, I mean, at a point. Have you resolved all those?
No. But most of the issues, I think the court did justice to it. Okay. And so we don't have much issues now, apart from just looking at certain things that some people have signed over there. But the major issues whereby there were injunctions and terms have been thrown away.
Okay.
So the party can forge ahead and continue with its activities without being prevented from doing so. And the Electoral Commission, I think yesterday I was at the IPAC meeting with you.
Yeah.
They have acknowledged that, and that is a good start.
Okay. All right. Well, we hope that the peace can be maintained.
Yes.
Moving forward, you can maintain your position as well.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's get into our first conversation for today. And just yesterday, the Ghana Statistical Service mentioned that the inflation rate in Ghana for the month of January had dropped marginally to 53.6%. You remember that in December, our inflation hit an all-time high of 54.1%, and that was quite a worry. But as it looks now, we have had a reduction to 53.6%. So food inflation inched up, however, to 61.0% in January 2023, and this is from 59.7% recorded in December. Non-food inflation declined to 47.9% in January 2023, from 49.9% recorded in December 2022, and transport inflation fell for the first time in several months due to the reduction in fuel prices during the period. So prices of non-food items also declined during the period. And so that's the table that you see on your screens right now. This is from the official website of the Ghana Statistical Service, giving us details of January's inflation rate as it stands now. And, you know, as if that's not, you know, good news enough, we're told that fuel prices starting today will fall between 7% and 11%. However, LPG will go up for the next 2 weeks. But at least we know that, according to the Institute of Energy Security, petrol will sell at about 14.40 cedis per litre, and diesel will go for about 13.90 per litre starting for today. So that is some good news. A bit of respite, if you ask me. I don't know how you'll take this, but let's start off with Margot. Let's see what she has to say about this. Good news?
Well, good morning to you, and especially a good morning to your viewers. Then good morning to mine.
Good morning, baby.
My birthday, sweetheart, and to our sister. Bella, what's in the news? Inflation has gone down, and fuel prices has also gone down.
Yes.
And we are going to get petrol a litre around 14.5.
Yeah.
Bella, in 2016, let me quote Dr. Baumia with regards to inflation. Dr. Baumia said something. He said there is nothing economy than somebody's pockets. There is nothing economy than somebody's pockets. What was the rate of inflation when we left power in 2016? It was around 11%. Today, inflation is hovering around over 50%. And somebody wants us to applaud them. Or it's kind of good news. To who? To the same Ghanaian who voted in 2016 for change. This is nothing to talk about. I am surprised it's even become a subject of discussion. This is literally nothing.
It's nothing?
Because when inflation was 11%, Dr. Bawumia, President Nana-Addo, then a candidate, they said the NDC government, we were such insensitive. We were wicked. We mismanaged the economy. We were incompetent. So an inflation rate of 11% by a president who was called incompetent. How do we call a president whose rate of inflation is over 50% and wants us to celebrate?
Well, it's not as if he's asking that we celebrate, but is this not at least good news to some
Nothing
extent
has happened
that
at all. At least
inflation is dropping?
At least they should take us where we left the country. At least they should take us there. The 11% that they said it was so insensitive, it was so evil, President Mahama was wicked. Today, how many times? They should just, if you couldn't do anything for us out of the promises they gave us, they should at least leave us at the 11%. And for President Akufo-Addo, then a candidate in 2016, on the 5th of December, 2 days to election, he says something. I'm quoting President Nana-Addo. I have seen drivers, both private and commercial, struggling to pay for high fuel prices and insurance premium. That was President Nana-Addo, a candidate then. December 5th, 2016. Then followed by his running mate then, Bawumia. On the 3rd of December, 2016, he said, to the taxi drivers and trotro drivers who have been hit by high cost of fuel and insurance premium, vote for change. Bella, and today we are talking about inflation. We are talking about fuel prices. A liter of fuel under President Mahama was how much? A gallon was even less than 15 Ghana cedis. How many liters makes a gallon? About 4.5 liters. And today, we are getting Nana-Addo's liter of fuel around 14 Ghana cedis. Today, when he was telling us that when a whole gallon, about 4.5 liters, was around 14 Ghana cedi, we should vote for change. Because we've been hit by high fuel prices. And these are the people we are talking about today. Bella, I honestly don't know why these people are still here. You know, when I heard that the IMF has appointed a supervisor for the BOG, I was praying, if not for the constitution, they should appoint a president to oversee Nana-Addo.
That's not possible.
Yes.
That's not possible.
Because we need help.
Isn't that why they've gone to the IMF? They have admitted that
the Jubilee House, where the decisions are being made, they need help. They really, really need help. Because these two gentlemen, Mr. Nana-Addo and Dr. Bawumia, telling us all these in just 2016, that they were going to make our lives better. That is why Ghanaians queued and voted for them. We queued and voted for them based on the promises they gave us. President Nana-Addo's longevity in politics will not make any Ghanaian believe that he will lie to us. You understand? With Bawumia's rhetorics and lectures and all the things that he said, would nobody assumed that they would take us here today. Inflation is in your pockets. How much do you buy foodstuffs? What is happening in the markets? What is happening? When you take your cash and you go to the market to go and purchase, who cares about inflation? Bawumia said, economy is nothing but your pockets. So we are asking the ordinary Ghanaian this morning, how is your pocket? That is the economy.
So even if inflation is going down, really, if it's not reflecting in your pocket, then there's no point.
It's still around 50. We left inflation at 11%, Bella.
So you want inflation to go back
to...
At
least they should take us there.
But we are not in a position to even have that now as it stands.
And why they were saying that the then government was wicked. So how do we describe these people? I think the media and the Ghanaian population should help us define Nana-Addo and his cause. Because while we were doing this, they called us names. So how do we describe them?
You tell us. How do you want to describe this government?
They are beyond description. They are not incompetent. They are not knowledgeable. They are not submissive.
That's quite harsh.
They are clueless. So I can't describe the MPP. They describe that as wicked at 11% inflation rates.
You're saying they are not knowledgeable?
How? How can you read textbooks and give us promises and come and say that you cannot implement the theories that you read to us? How do we call you? If you are being taught and you can't implement, How do we call you?
Okay.
They are being so insensitive to, and they measure in minors, little things they want to celebrate.
Like what?
Inflation is going down, and we are. So
but that's the job of the Ghana Statistical Service to update us on the rate of inflation. So that one we have to expect
to exposing this government to us, because we still remember that President Mahama left this country, and the inflation of this country was 11%. At least the MPP, if not for anything at all, those days, and you could hear how they were shouting on top of the roof that President Mahama was incompetent. At least they should take us to the 11% incompetence. Okay. That one is even far better than what they are doing today.
Okay, Nanaya. I mean, Ghanaians have been crying for fuel prices to reduce. They've been crying that, of course. And we're told that when you talk about inflation, look at what you have on your dining table, and that will determine the inflation in your pocket and in your personal economy. Now we're recording, slightly lower numbers than what we recorded in December. Should we not be happy at least that things are reducing to a certain extent?
Thank you, Bella. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for bringing the CPP to also add our voice to issues regarding this country. Let me say good morning to your viewers. Let me say good morning to my comrades in the Convention People's Party. And let me say good morning to everybody here, including yourself, my sweetheart Margot, and my sister, my very good sister Janet. You see, the point is that, Bella, I calculated the whatever it is, it's 1.7%. 1.7%, yes, you would say that it looks okay, but what is accounting for this? And when you look at the food inflation, that is the essential amongst the whole basket, it's 61.06.
So it's recorded an increase.
It's recorded an increase, and that is where the crux of the matter is. What I will eat, what will make me survive is high. And this inflation also affects my household income. And household incomes are dwindling because of the state of the economy and the strength of our city. So the point is that where are we? In nominal terms, on face value, there is an improvement of 1.7%. But what has happened that we are here? 1.7%. Normally, during maybe January, February, after Christmas, some goods and services are reduced because people are not, really partaking in those, services. Let's see what happens in February after Valentine. Let's see what will happen. January, yes, January is normally a very slow month. But even for a slow month and for food to be this high, then it is problematic. We shouldn't always hide under, glorification and say that, oh, this is good. It is not good. It is not good. Because if within this basket, 61.06% is the food that goes into me, that makes me survive. The rest I can do without them. But my food, my sustenance. You said that the transport has gone down because of
the
petrol. But they didn't reduce transportation prices. Petrol has been topsy-turvy. It goes up, it comes down, it goes up. In one vein is 16 cedis, in another vein is 14 cedis. You budget, you can't even budget properly. So certainly that one, there's no, it will not affect transportation because truly the petrol is not stable and they didn't reduce transport. So there should be a reason why that one is like that. But I thought that when the Statistical Service were talking, they will give us a line-by-line reason why this has happened. Why are we having a food inflation higher, even higher than the overall composite inflation figure? They should let us know. Truly, I empathize with Margot that in 2016, I will even take it from 2017, we had so much hope that this government was going to change so many things for us. You see, when we are making the argument, people always think that it is just mere criticism, but you have to posit it against what they said when they were coming into power. If somebody gives you promises, and those promises are not fulfilled, it is heartbreaking and it is disappointing. When you know that the capacity to do that is available. Capacity in terms of you being in government. Bella, I always say that the easiest job for anybody to do is to be the president or to be in government. Because what? You have the resources available to you. You have access to cash. You have access to our royalties. Everything this country has is with you. You have to manage it to make sure that we are okay. And when you talk about it, I talk about it based on the fact that you made certain promises and you need to fulfill it. If you are coming to marry me and you tell me that you are going to put me in a mansion and we end up in a compound house, wouldn't I be disappointed? Or we end up in a hut? I'll be disappointed. Because no matter what, it is, no matter how much I love you, I'll be disappointed that you gave me a certain promise and you didn't fulfill it. And that is where the argument starts from. For instance, fuel. In 2017, it was about 14 cedis a gallon, let's say 14.5. Yeah. Today, it is, even with the reduction, 57.60. How many gallons can I fill with all this traffic in town? Bella, how much will be enough for me? Because this fuel, it is the price of fuel, the cost of fuel, has an impact on household incomes. Where household incomes have not gone up because salaries have not gone up. Even if you are a business person, you are selling and you are selling and buying. Because of everything the economy is going through, you will not be able to even break even. For you to be able to, afford fuel like this. You see, if a reduction is 57.60, then it means that we are looking at over a period of 2017 to now, which is about 6 years, our fuel has increased by 500%. Even at this point, there's a reduction. I'm using 57.60. It means fuel has increased about 500% over a period of 5 to 6 years. If I do a cursory calculation, Bella, how is that? And when we talk about it, it's not about because, you don't like this guy. No, it's about, you see, I said last week that if you are criticized, you need to look at what it is that is making people. You don't just say that, people are just criticized for criticism's sake. Then it means you have lost touch. Then it means you don't know what is going on in the country. Then it means that there is a problem. Do you get me? It means that you don't know that people are suffering. People complain because they are suffering. Look at the pensioners. You think that they'll get up and come and picket because they just enjoy picketing. Something has touched them. Something has touched their money. Something has touched their wherewithal. Something has touched their existence. And that is the fact that you are going to depreciate or make smaller my interest. That comes on some investment that I have done. Bella, opportunistic diseases arrive at your door when you get to a certain age. Yes, today the norm is different. The status quo has changed. You have some younger people having those, but largely, most of the old people have these opportunistic diseases of diabetes, pressure, lifestyle diseases. They are there. And they buy their medicines through these instruments. And today, if you say I get 19% on a bond instrument as my interest, and you are going to reduce that or not give me at all, how do I survive?
Okay. Well, before we even go into the conversation about pensioners, let's hear from Janice Naba as well about this matter and where you stand with this. Should we be jubilating at this point, or should we just be careful?
I don't even know what to say. Let me greet you, your viewers. Let me greet our PNC members across the country. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Age gracefully. I want to greet my sister from another political party. I thank God that we have a lot of women out here. You see, people are always hearing the voices of men, but women voices are not usually heard. So when TV3 gives us opportunity to also tell our side of the story, I think I should thank them so much for bringing the three of us here this morning.
Thank you for agreeing to come as well.
I've heard from the two, the General Secretary and the communication member. I've heard from them, and I don't know what to say. It is true that things are hard. It's true that we are working on difficult times. It is true that prices of food and other commodities in the market are skyrocketing. It is true about all this. But if there is a drop in inflation, I think it is something that we should encourage. Even when you have a child at home and he does something and you don't appreciate, the child is going to lose confidence and won't do it again. Ghana, the too much criticism, we are destroying this country without knowing.
By criticizing?
The criticisms. When you are criticizing someone, you criticize to make sure that things go on well.
Okay.
The Bible says that the Spirit of God is not a spirit of confusion. Reason is that when God admonishes you, he's doing it not because he hates you. He's doing it so that you can follow the right path without sinning. So we are talking about the inflation dropping. You've seen that the government and all its machineries, they've been under edge. You can see they are trying their possible best. They pick this one, it's not working, they leave it, they pick this one, just to tell you that we have entrusted the governance of this country into their hands, and they are supposed, or they have a promise to make sure that they deliver and protect the people of Ghana. So that is a mandate that they had with the people of Ghana. So if they are not able to do it, I don't think that they will be happy. You were talking about when you were in power and then the criticisms that were coming. You were doing your best, but Ghanaians were not seeing. So, and now it's going to be repetitive, that you are in power. Anybody who is in power, then the other one criticize and get into power without solutions. You see, I want Ghana, we have to have a paradigm shift as to how we are doing things. Every day, we, the opposition political parties, we gather at radio stations, television stations, to chastise a ruling government without providing solution. One thing that pains me has to do with the academia. For instance, most of our presidents are completed Legon. So if they failed us, Legon have failed. So when I hear academians on television stations, radio stations, talking as if they are the primus inter pares of this country, yet we are in difficulties. We have economists in Legon, in KNUST, in UDS, in Winneba, Cape Coast. Why can't you come together, go for a conference, not without asking government for any funds? We like that. We don't want to do anything unless something comes out. Don't tell the government anything. Go into a conference and ask yourselves, what are we not doing right? Come out with a white paper. They will tell you that when you talk, the government will not listen. Who have talked? Have you seen any paper delivered to a government?
Does it have to be a paper before? I mean, they've been given a platform. The media is what, the fourth estate?
Yes.
They always have the opportunity to even proffer solutions to a lot of the things.
What I'm saying is that...
And government doesn't seem to heed.
No. We are here talking. You don't expect government. Government is busy to be listening to all the radio stations, television stations. But they have a communication team. If the radio station is holding on, the television station is holding on to a paper that was delivered by maybe these academians, that we do this, and then you are questioning them, you can go back to the white paper. These people said that you should do this, and have you done it? The academians will now be on television and other media stations telling government what the paper they have brought. We told you to do this. How have you done it? You did it this way. You shouldn't have done this way. Let's try this and see. Then we have something to go on with. We are also from opposition political parties. When things were difficult, PNC came out with some possible things we thought if government should do it, it will be able to help reduce the burden.
Was it a white paper?
It was a paper.
And
we delivered, so we gave it out. We could see that some of the things they touch upon it and other things.
Exactly?
For instance, we spoke about the property rate.
Okay.
A lot of rich people in this country, they don't pay this in realistic taxes. They are the same people who criticize and talk when their roads are not good. They have big mansions they are not paying anything on. We asked government to do something about it. We also spoke about why we come cocoa. We buy cocoa from farmers, and yet we don't buy rice from farmers. If we are buying rice from farmers, it will give us opportunity to know the number of production levels that we do in the country and whether we should increase, when to win ourselves of the foreign market. So we came out with a lot of solutions, including our transportation sector. We told government, when you go to UK, US, and other places, government is the largest of public transport. It is not the what is it called? He has not left it in the hands of the individuals to manipulate. And for that matter, prices are determined. But Ghana is not the same. All these things were in our paper.
Okay.
Once in a while, we hit on it. We told you this. How far? We are not trying to give solutions. We are not trying to suggest how we can be able to arrive there. We are trying...
I beg to differ if you say we're not trying to give solutions. And I'll give you a clear example. I remember when there was this matter about whether there's going to be food shortage in this country or not. Peasants Farmers Association came, they spoke, they gave advice on what we can do. In fact, they said that they reached out to the Agric Ministry and the Agric Minister and told him that we are facing a challenge. And if you don't implement A, B, C, and D, we're going to suffer food crisis. They are not the only ones. Chamber of Agribusiness came out. Agric Workers Union came out. The minister was interviewed on this matter, and he was rather challenging, these groups and wondering if they really existed in this country or not. And I remember I listened to this, and I asked the individuals that this is what the minister says, that he doesn't even think that you are eligible to even make this statement because you don't necessarily have the impetus to make those statements. And they were shocked. So it's not as if they've not reached out to
Is it like
government.
after the problem started that they came out?
No.
No. Is it after the problem started or they went there to give their...
They said they reached out to the ministry ahead because they could predict that in the coming weeks or months there was going to be food
Were you
shortage.
aware? The media?
But we spoke to them.
What I'm saying
and
is
they
that...
said this is what they did.
No. How sure? Are you sure what they
But
said
the ministry did not deny this either. Okay,
so because if you are going to do something, let the public be aware. The public means the fourth estate. That's the media. You are going to give a minister of agric advice, and the public is not aware. You are doing it what? You are doing it in secrecy. If he denies that, listen, it was all over. Yes, we publish it to the media. I spoke to most of the media stations. It's there. When you go to the media and you type on the internet and type, you will see it. So let's not do things in secrecy. We are talking about transparency. A group coming together to give advice to the minister, the press must be there. You are the fourth estate. Today, if the minister says that all what they are saying, he is not aware, then nobody can be able to dispute that. If you were there, you would have told him that we were here. So please, whatever we are doing, let's not do it in secrecy. I continue to say that Ghana, the criticism is too much. And the solutions, when you criticize, you provide solutions.
Okay.
People are talking without providing solutions. They are causing trouble for this country. For instance, I heard that the vice president came up with a policy called fuel for what? Gold for fuel.
Gold for oil, yeah.
Gold for oil.
Yes.
It's a very good initiative. Very, very good initiative. If he comes out with an initiative or policy that you think that maybe let's do it this way to work, you say that. But when you sit on national television to say that if the US, the UK, our international bodies will see this, they will be angry with us. You are telling those oil-producing countries to run away without even doing business with Ghana. And that is treason. You are no more trying to help Ghanaians. You are trying to hit our heads against the outside country. Those are the things that from the PNC point, when we sit down, when you do that, you don't think that Ghanaians will vote for you. Ghanaians are looking for solutions at the moment.
They are not getting the solutions from this government.
Listen, they are crying.
This government equally criticized the other government that was in power.
You don't understand.
Well.
That's not what I'm talking. I am not talking about criticism. Ghanaians don't care about your criticism. They care about the food that they will get on their table to eat. So when you come here and you criticize and you say that let's do this so that prices can reduce, let's do this so that maybe the fuel this thing, let's do this, Ghanaians will open their ears and they will start listening.
During COVID-19, the NDC released a technical, they had a technical team, an advisory team on COVID. They released pointers on what they thought that the NPP government should do in order to bring the COVID under control. Eventually, they complained that none of the advices that they gave to government was heeded to. And so if you're saying that release a paper with pointers, they did that.
The truth is, I'm not even aware about the pointers that you are talking about.
Well, I know because I interviewed them.
Very good.
Exactly.
Because
I saw the pointers.
And then they were applicable. And the government never...
Well, they said government never did anything about it.
So they are saying that government didn't do anything. But did we fall into certain things that the pointers came out to point out that if government was to do it, we wouldn't have gotten into that situation? So that they can come now to say that in one of the pointers, we told you this. You did not do it. As a result, this came. Have you heard that from them? When you bring out pointers and the government doesn't take it, it's a good thing for you. That is a political campaign message for you. To say pointer number 1, this is what we told the government he didn't do. I've not heard that from them.
Okay.
I haven't heard it.
Okay, Margaret.
Bella, I don't know where my sister has been in this country. But 2 years ago, President Mahama said this on on most of his series, like the lectures he had. Call a national dialogue. Let's do the Senchi type. Let's talk. You know, the country is going through crisis. You guys are not in charge anymore. Call even the NDC. We were willing and ready to bring our people to come and help. These people did not listen. President Mahama advised them, go to IMF. The way this country is going, we will get to a crossroad, go to IMF. These guys did not listen. We called the Senchi kind of meeting. They refused to come. And from Senchi, whatever that we wrote, it was taken by IMF, hook, line, and sinker. Because we asked for ideas, we brought people on board to share experiences with us. You understand? We suggested this to this government. They didn't listen. They're arrogant. They don't want to listen. They are full of themselves, yet they are empty up there. That is why I tell you that we cannot describe these people. My sister have not been in this country, I guess. President Mahama has said a lot to these people, and all those things that he said today, his inflation rates, his debt to GDP is what the NPP government is struggling to achieve in 3 years. That is what the IMF is telling them to go back for. When he was advising them, they didn't listen. They exited IMF with fanfare, with vuvuzela, with parties, and dancing. We told them, you don't want financial discipline. You will crash this country. We told them. President Mahama said other civil society amplified this. Party communicators amplified his voice. What did they do? They rub it on our faces by living like as Sami would say, Arabian king. When this gentleman was flying a 14,000 pound per hour private jet, and we told him to come down, what's our sister in this country? Did he listen?
Well, they still haven't given us an account of it. They say it's
they
a security
told us it is
and national security
now
matter.
What we are going through, to understand that pensioners are picketing at Ministry of Finance. Which one is more of a national security than what we are going through today? So please, probably you have listening. I don't want to you choose to listen to what you want to hear. But President Mahama and other civil society, other well-meaning Ghanaians have spoken to this government a lot, and they have refused to listen. But you know, those that the gods want to kill, sometimes I feel they make you deaf. They will say all the things, but you will never hear. People of this country have spoken. President Mahama has spoken. A lot of civil society, Imani, Franklin Kujo, Bright, everybody, including their own appointee, the former Chief Justice, is still talking. Yet, they don't want to listen.
Nanaya, do we need a white paper before government really acts on all the complaints?
We don't need a white paper. If you're a government and you are with the people and you are by the people, you should know what is going on for you to change your ways. When it comes to inclusion, when the government went to IMF, did they inform us? Look, when it came to economic dialogue, I agree with Mago. Because we, the CPP, we said that when we saw teething problems, our economic team came together, had a meeting at the headquarters. And when we saw the teething problems, we told government. We wanted to even go and meet the president. I was the one doing the arrangements. They never gave us the opportunity.
You asked for a date to meet the president?
Yes, we asked for a date to meet him and talk about the economy, because there were teething problems, and we noticed that if we don't do something about it, we'll get here. We asked that if we are not able to see him, then we want an economic dialogue. It is not only CPP. I can envisage as I sit here the face of Yaba on the front page of the Daily Graphic. I cannot remember the date. Who was asking as the TUC Secretary General that the government, we need an economic dialogue. The CSOs said that we need an economic dialogue.
Yeah.
It cannot necessarily be because the fact that somebody went to Senchi and you feel the person is your opponent, it can be something else. Do you get me? It can be group by group discussions. Who hasn't said? Economists have spoken. Because they cannot get access, the only thing they have, maybe Janet, they have access. We didn't get access.
Well, she's shaking her head, so clearly she doesn't have access.
Some people don't have access. Do you get me? So the only place that they can have voice their this thing is on the air. Hoping that a communication, me, I'm a PR person. I'm a communications expert. Any communication outfit of which I know this government has, you monitor radio, TV, newspapers every day. And at the end of the day, you brief your president or your CEO. When I was at GIPC, free zones, wherever, at GIPC, I was young. I was in charge of the monitoring. I'll finish everything and go and sit in front of Chrissy Awoy and brief him and say that, say, A, B, C, D, this went right, things like that. I pick information all around. So you have to do boundary spanning. If the government has communicators and they are not doing boundary spanning, then there is a problem. Boundary spanning to know that A, B, C, D, you have to also have your communication formula, that is race. You research what is going on, you put in action, you communicate, and you evaluate every communication. If you don't put these things in place, then your communication is wrong. The systems theory in communication will tell you that you need to go around the circle and touch everywhere. And at the end of the day, in the middle of that is the boundary spanning. You need to span your boundary. So if government is not spanning their boundary to know that citizens are talking, because you see, you cannot gag anybody not to criticize. It is the prerogative in a democracy for people to criticize. Even in America, Biden is being criticized.
But she says that we're knocking heads against each other if we continue to criticize.
We are not knocking heads. You see, we are not knocking heads against. Look, there's a man as IEA. I always mix him with it, Dr. Kwakwa or Dakwa, one of them. He actually came on TV and gave what has to be done. He's an economist.
Yeah.
The president went to the US and said on TV, either BBC or CNN, that he has economists in his party that can advise him. Fair and good. I mean, it's okay. I mean, this is politics. You have to go out, but if you don't want to go out, you use the internal mechanism. So internal mechanisms, I drilled down. Mr. Kwame Pieni, when I was PU, I know him personally. He was my chairman. One of the best brains. Mr. Kwame Pieni is even struggling to get access, so he ends up on TV. And tells you, he doesn't hide it. At this age, what does he? He says he went to see Ken, and Ken told him that he wants to be recognized. That's why he's there. He said it on TV. Do you get me? And he's so desperate to make things work. He is MPP. Mark Esibe Yeboah. One of the best. You see, I sit down and I listen to this man, and I see that this is brains. Why should Mark Esibe Yeboah, the former finance committee chair, should sit on TV to talk about the economy? He should have easy access to the president. That anytime he wants to tell the president what it is, he should be there. On easy lies the head that wears the crown. Leadership is cause. Every other thing is the effect of leadership. So if Mark Esibe Yeboah wants to talk about issues concerning the economy, he needn't go to finance minister. He has to go to the president. Has he got access? Why should Mark Esibe Yeboah? Why should Kwame Pieni? This, I won't go further. In the presidency is somebody who was a finance minister, Honorable Yao Osafo-Maafo. He's there. So these two people sitting on the fence, Kwame Pieni, he is the one who went to prison for liberation of this nation. If people do not know, they should know. He was in prison for 10 years. He was supposed to be the president of this nation. But because he went to prison, a court case came against him that he's an ex-convict. So he cannot stand on the ticket of the MPP. One at the time, is it Mrs. Ekuban or somebody like that, did that. This is a man who is astute. He has led his life very well. Why should he talk about issues on TV if he has access? It is desperation that made him come on TV. He's not like that. He doesn't want any recognition. He has his recognition already. But he came on TV, he asked for the opportunity because there is no access. You can present a white paper. If you don't have access, if it is just received on the face of it, You will not be even motivated to do that. When we said there should be an economic dialogue, what happened? There were teething problems. You see, when you start having a waist pain and you start having these teething problems, you don't go to the doctor, it will end up in something else. Tomorrow you go, they say you have spondylosis, you have something strange. And that is exactly what the CPP, CSOs, TUC said, that there is the need for us to interrogate the teething problems coming up on the economy. And this government said no because of Senchi. What about Senchi? Where we are here today, do we care what happened with NDC? What is most important? Janet was saying it, and she said it aptly well, that a president or a government should protect the interest of the nation, the people. So whatever you will do to protect that interest, when it comes on board, you do not need to look at what your opponent did. You look at what is prudent for us. People have perfect solutions. Have they been taken? Even with this GDP or whatever DDEP, have they even given us the opportunity? Did they even include anybody? You are taking my money. This money is mine. I've put my money in bonds. You see, the bonds are the most, government bonds have been the safest of investments.
Yeah.
I've put my money in bonds. It is my money. For some reason, there is some form of problem, mismanagement, everything is basa. You want to take my money because you have not been able to even pay me whatever. You use my money to do business and some problem has come. You said you cannot give me my interest as it's supposed to be. Don't you speak to me. That is called transparency. Janet said transparency. That is called transparency. That it is transparent for you to come to me nicely and speak to me and give me the indications, the factors, the ramifications, and whatever it is, how it is going to affect me.
Yeah.
You let me know about it. Did this government do that? They just started and they were talking to fund managers. Fund managers, the money does not belong to them. They are custodians of our investments. So that if you have enterprise and trustees, that group is a custodian of my investment. They just look after it. Everybody in this country who has bonds is an individual bond holder. You have pension funds somewhere. You have this somewhere. Within even the pensioners, some are individual bond holders. Some are pension funds where you have our tier 1, tier 2, the provident fund, where every month, at the end of the month, they take maybe 2 CDs, 3 something, and you contribute. Then after 10 years, if you are still in work, you haven't retired, they give you a certain amount. They give you a certain amount of your profit. And now it cannot even be given. There are people who are desperate. But did you even talk to me when you wanted to touch my money?
Okay.
Did you tell me that I want to use your money for A, B, C, D? Were you nice about it?
Well, the finance minister, and talking about this matter, the finance minister has wondered why the pensioners are still picketing at the finance ministry. In fact, today he's expected in parliament, and these pensioners are saying that they will still follow him to parliament and picket there until they ensure that they are completely excluded from the domestic debt exchange program. Janice, I'll let you speak on this shortly, but let's just, if we can, Oliver and Coco, can we play the video of the minister speaking to the pensioners yesterday and wondering why they were still picketing there? Maybe we'll play that shortly. But Janet, I mean, clearly from what they have said, and before we even get into this, what was your party vocal about the E-levy and the fact that a lot of Ghanaians didn't want that to take place? Were you vocal about it?
I heard her saying that President Mahama advised that they should go to IMF. I don't think it's a good initiative that your advice for the people of Ghana is to go to IMF. We rejected, the PNC came out and said, we support E-levy. You came out and supported E-levy. We supported E-levy because our party, the PNC, is about self-reliance. We hate being, allowing Bretton Woods institutions to be in charge of our affairs. We don't want that. We want to be self-governed, not... And
that's by taxing people more? At a time when things were not too good for people economically?
It's not the matter of taxing people more. If you don't pay, if you don't tax people and do the things that you want to do, no one will do it for you. America, when you go to America, you will work and use all to pay taxes. They use the taxes to make sure that their country is running. Why is it that Ghana, when you hear taxes, they are running away from it? When they talk of responsibility, a lot of people, they will say that when you pay taxes, they don't use the taxes the way it's supposed to be paid. The taxpayer, they want to pay tax, doesn't want to pay tax. The one that they pay the tax to is not using the tax to do the right thing. So this is what is always going on in Ghana. She said that their president gave came with advice that they should go to IMF. PNC, we disagreed. We supported E-levy. But we told the government that 1.75 was too much.
Okay.
Why don't you reduce it to either 1% or 0.75%?
How did you communicate this to government?
We
did you release a white paper?
We released a white paper and gave one to the Flagstaff House.
And how did that turn out?
So you wait. That was when we heard that they were now going around to do consultation and then to hear from other people. We kept on stressing that it's a good thing that we are paying taxes to take care of our own affairs instead of running to these international bodies to always go and borrow money and come back over here and they will bring small boys to come and now gag us. That is not the right way to rule a country. What happened? All the opposition political parties, including CPP, did you hear anything from them? They were all against. They said no.
Against what?
They were against the E-levy.
They were against the E-levy.
And went on the demonstration. The people that I saw, when you say Ghana, what do you mean? I'm a Ghanaian. I was not against. It is not true. What you are saying is not true. Ghanaians were not. You were against E-levy. I'm a Ghanaian. I wasn't against it.
You weren't against, but you were against the 1.75%.
So if you are saying that Ghanaians were against, what are you saying? It was no. Everyone with his or her opinion on that day.
So you were not against it.
Yes. So we were not against it, but my sister from another party, the NDC, they went on a demonstration. I told Ghanaians, they always do this. You go on a demonstration, it will not yield any fruit. We are back to square one. We are telling the government it's a good initiative. We want our country to develop. We want to be self-reliant, but then we should be able to pay. And then the threshold, make sure that people who are getting 100 to 300 Ghana cedis should not be taxable. Because we have market women, kaya people who have to send money to their relatives at home. And so the tax should not get to this.
From 100 to 300?
Yes.
Well, government obviously didn't listen to that.
No, that is what... But when the government came, he wasn't giving any threshold. He wasn't doing anything.
No, there was a threshold for below 100 Ghana cedis.
That was later on. That when he started doing the...
going around the budget.
Look, it was from the beginning. The moment they mentioned it, they said that anybody who did a transaction of less than 100 Ghana cedis and 3,000 cedis a month.
And we were saying that from 100 to 300 and then either 0.75% or maybe 1%. That was what we were telling government. I remember that when Honorable Haruna Idrisu, who is part of the committees in Parliament, he knows a lot of things that those of us who are standing outside, we don't know. He knew how distressed the economy was. So he said, if you want us to help you, you have to be nice. We know what is happening. And we know that this country will collapse if we don't help you. So come down with your percentage. Maybe at least 1% so that we can see how best we can help you. What didn't the NDC do? The communicators just went bizarre. They said no. And she's helping MPP. She's now an MPP. Look at what she's saying. They do all these things so that there will be no unity. Because
why do you say that?
Listen,
when they suggested 1%, they said that Haruna Idrisu spoke, and he said that even that suggestion, I think there was a small meeting where I think they agreed also, and then they came back and said, no, we don't agree.
They did not come back. They did not
even agree to it.
Listen, no, Haruna said that was what they did, but it's not like they said that is what they were going to do. But when their people started coming with a lot of insults, they had to do a meeting to say that no.
From who?
Didn't they say that Haruna and co are those who are now trying to sell the country out by helping the MPP?
So who was insulting?
It was the NDC. The members, the communication...
they were insulting
team.
Government community?
No, their own MPs who were part of the team. So what I'm saying is that this country is always run on different angles. Every day we look at things, this is this person's problem. Let's not help. Let's stand aloof and see how he feels so that we can also come and take over. And this one too will do same thing. You've been doing this in the Fourth Republic. MPP and NDC is not helping us. What I'm saying is that the E-levy was not a bad thing, but you opted out. Upon opting out, that wasn't all. Ghanaians, they were having a different language for the people of Ghana. MPP was on the other side. These people say no, these people. And you know, the Bible says that a divided house cannot stand. At the end of the day, people did not pay the E-levy. And because of that, we had to go to IMF.
Was that not because government was just adamant to even...
It is not a matter of adamant. They went to listen. They were not asking that maybe 0.75. No, they said they will not do anything. They went on Yentuya demonstration. Ask yourself, did they pay? But
government didn't listen, and they still went ahead to tax.
That is it.
And they didn't even meet the target.
That is the reason why it should have been on a consensus decision, not about divide and rule.
But if one side is suggesting something, and the other side says we won't agree.
No, one side said no. The other one said the other side is saying that we don't have money to run this country. We don't want to go to IMF. We need help. And the PNC said, if you need help, then cut down the threshold. Also make sure that the percentages. Do they listen? They listen. They did 1.75. Do you know why they didn't listen? Because you refuse to help the PNC.
How?
Because they also refuse
to help the PNC
to talk about the bringing down the percentages. As a result, government ended up taking his own decision.
But by saying he went round to you.
He went round. No. He shouldn't listen.
You're saying
when a lot of pressure is coming,
and you won't listen.
If the PNC is saying it, the CPP is saying it, we are not against you. Government, you are talking about consensus going to Senchi. When you went, how far with that one? And you now want to do it. How consensus?
So there was no need to have
what I'm saying is that economic dialogue, I think, is a very necessary thing. Okay. And I think all the people should come together.
Yes.
But with this, your divergence views that you don't always, everything about government is against. It's against who? Tell me one thing they supported. Just one thing. So
that who supported?
It's always on the opposition side. We don't want this. We don't want. Why is it that one day they will be, and the MPP can bring out a policy and some part of NDCs will say that we like this policy. And one day MPP can bring a policy and their own members will say, no, we don't like this policy. Have you ever seen that?
Okay.
So we are not robots. We are being ruled like we are robots. We are against. Let's be against and throw out. That's what we are doing.
Janet, thank you. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll play that video of the finance minister interacting with pensioners yesterday, wondering why they were still picketing. We'll be right back. Keep watching.